Hi, I am Susan Bradford, a member of the San Juan County Textile Guild, and I'm here today with Valarie Keaton. And there are a couple questions that I wanted to ask you, Valarie, in terms of how you're doing during this time period, this very unique time period of our lives.
Okay, did you want me to answer that question, or did you have something specific you wanted to ask?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. What I was going to ask you is really just how you're doing, but in specifically, how are you viewing the role of your creativity in your life right now?
Um, I think that I've been using it as a distraction mostly. I have found that doing repetitive, like knitting and weaving and spinning, have been really helpful to me in a meditative kind of way. And I found that if I'm learning something new that somebody's teaching me, I found that kind of comforting, interesting, and it's a great distraction. But in terms of designing, um, especially if it's very complicated, my mind just seems to freeze. So I found that being creative, or I've been more in a making mode. And in terms of designing with color, just playing with color, that's been really fun. And that's working for me. But for instance, I was trying to design a sweater, and it was like having a lot of frustration with like trying to knit the stitch I want to knit in the round and doing increases while I was knitting it in the round, and all the math that I just, like I said, my mind just froze. So I found that I needed to, then I decided I was going to learn a new stitch. I learned a new stitch, and I'm playing with color with that new stitch, and that's fun. So I'm I've, I've I've been frustrated if it's anything complicated, but if it's something, like I said, meditative, repetitive, I found it very comforting.
It sounds interesting and appropriate somehow. Um, do you have anything that you would like to share at this time?
Yes, actually, it's like one of the things I found that I've been doing is that the projects that have been in my mind for the past couple of years, um, that I either had started or that I had just been thinking about, um, that I've actually been checking things off my list. So I want to show you some
Ah,
things that I was able to, that I finally had the time to get around to.
fabulous. All right,
Okay,
let's
so
look at
here we
them.
go. All right, so what I'm showing you here is, this is some yarn that I dyed with Jason Munkris, one of our other guild members, last fall. And basically we were dyeing with a plant material. So I had gathered some rudbeckia, some gold, yellow, black-eyed Susan flowers in my garden. And so all these kind of beautiful kind of tawny brown colors were from doing a dye bath with those black-eyed Susans. And then the peachy colors actually are for some madder that I had that somebody had given me years before. And so it was the first time I had dyed with plant material. So
Mm,
I had these beautiful colors, and I wanted to use them to make a rug. So
ah, beautiful.
so basically this is the rug that I designed using those yarns. And so so again, it's like, so designing with the rug, my style with the rugs that I make are, I do stripes, but I don't do them in any particular pattern. When I'm
Hmm.
sitting at the loom, I just weave with a particular color until it feels like it's the right time to change colors.
Hmm.
And so I started using, so you can see that the ones with the color with the black-eyed Susan right here, this beautiful tawny brown, and the other. And then I had some blue yarn, and I didn't really have enough of any one color. So what I did is, or it wasn't the right weight, so I basically ran a bunch of blue yarns I had together to come up with
Mm,
that third shade.
hmm.
And here's just a close-up of the stripe. I was trying a new technique. And then here's the finished rug. And
Oh,
so I was really happy with the way that this came out. So that
And
was
so
one of
you've
the
been
things that,
very productive, it seems.
yes, it's like, so again, playing with color for me is never stressful. That is just fun. It's like, I don't feel like I have to figure anything out because I just do what feels right.
Hmm.
And so that's been working for me. And then there was another rug that I had been thinking about for the past couple of years. I had this incredible this mohair right here is actually like chartreuse. It's like this wonderful, bright, juicy color. And I had this other variegated yarn that had that color in it. And so I played around with some grays. I thought, well, maybe I'll combine it with gray, or maybe I'll go with the tawny color, but I really felt like I needed a light. So I
Hmm.
finally decided on this white color. And so I finally got that. And when I finished the other rug that, using that other yarn that I dyed with Jason, I finally got this one on the loom. Oh, I'm out
Mm.
of sequence. Sorry. Okay, so I got that one on the loom. And I was really, really happy with the way this one went too. It just, again, I would just weave with one color till it felt like it was time to change to the next color. Here's a close up.
Hmm.
And one of the things I love too, that variegated yarn, it had this kind of pebbly, really kind of river bottom texture that I found
Hmm.
really charming.
Definitely. Hmm.
I was, while I was weaving this rug, I was just so happy the whole time.
I
So,
bet.
and then
Makes me happy to look at it.
here's the finished product. And
It's
this
great.
rug is about 5 feet long. Actually, it's about 4.5 feet long. And and then the other project that I had been working on for the past year was this blanket for my niece Olive, my little baby grandniece Olive. And so obviously, her name Olive was an inspiration for the colors.
Hmm.
And also her parents had been married in the woods, and I wasn't at their wedding. They lived back east. And so they had this beautiful woodland wedding. And so the woodland colors also were an inspiration to me for this.
Oh,
And
that's great.
so anyway, I finally got this blanket finished for Olive. And then here I mailed it to her mommy, and here's the little baby. And Olive was a preemie. So she was born weighing about a pound.
Mm.
So, I was thinking about her all year while I was knitting this blanket for her, and she's a little fighter. She's hanging in there.
Hmm. Yeah, she looks like
So,
she's doing great.
and then this is a lace project that I actually started about 10 years ago. So I'm still working on this one, but I picked it up after all these years. That's just one of those, works in progress, that you've, had. I've always wanted to finish it because I love the pattern. I love the colors. The yarn is 50% silk and 50% merino. It's just divine. So I'm more than halfway done with this project now, and I'm excited about that.
Hmm.
And then these are the colors of my next rug. So again, playing with color has, been something that I've just found has just kind of calmed me.
Hmm.
And so I'm excited about getting this rug started next.
Hmm. So we're running short of time, but I have one more question. So do you feel like your creative process is uh, designed in a way, designed to soothe you, to calm you, rather than to stimulate you and excite you at this point?
Exactly. I think that's a perfect description, what I've been doing. It's that if it's something that would be really challenging in a mental kind of way, I have found that that's just not working for me right now. So, and again, going back to these ideas that I've had, so it's sort of like some of the more complicated mental stuff, that work had already been done before, the coronavirus, overtook our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
yeah,
that's
so
a
I
good
think
thing, right?
I still have this one project, that's on my list that, has, like, I tried to start it like about 3 or 4 times, and I just got so frustrated with it, I put it down again. So it's on the back burner.
Well, we're
And
going to have time. I think it's looking like it.
I think I'll eventually get around to it. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just change it so that it suits my mood. of doing something that's repetitive and soothing,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that
Make
I'll give up on my my high ideals of doing a new design,
yes.
a new original design.
Exactly. Well, happy weaving, my dear, and
Thank you.
I will see you again soon. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.